Now that we've covered performance-enhancing drugs and some of their side effects and some of the penalties that are handed out, now I want to switch our attention to deviant behavior and sport. When we talk about deviant behavior in sport, it doesn't have to just be professional athletes. It happens far too often in high school sports as well. Here's a case and example of a Texas high school football game where two defensive backs are charged by their coach to take it out on an official for a bad call. And as you can see in the video, this official is blindsided from the back and is seriously injured by two defensive backs taking it upon themselves to hurt this official for a bad call. As you can see by the evidence of the video, that was a brutal and unnecessary attack on an official who was not prepared in any way, shape, or form for that type of hit. Now, the media portrays that the defensive backs coach had ordered the hit. So again, deviant behavior just doesn't extend from players, but also from coaches as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that in my third point when we talk about coaching for character. Britt, as you can see by the video, that this was an incredible act of cowardice by blindsiding that official. Now, when we talk about deviancy in sport, it can be defined as not following society's expectations or behaving in relation to the norms of society. As you can see up on the PowerPoint slide, I have deviancy, and it's divided into two categories. First, let's take a look at underconformity. Underconformity is ignoring or rejecting the norms, such as talking back to the coach or to the referees, violating rules or committing fouls during a game, taking mega doses of performance-enhancing drugs, hazing rookies, sexual assault, gambling, not being a team player, and behaving however he feels. Anarchy can be seen as rampant underconformity. Overconformity is an unquestioned acceptance of norms, neglecting needs of family, training to the point of self-injury, unhealthy eating and or weight control, playing when in pain or injured, continuing to play even though you are injured. This is normalized and is actually seen as worthy of praise. What is deviant outside of sport is commonly reserved. So now that we know what deviancy is, and we know that there's two forms, underconformity and overconformity, this is the one that goes against societal norms. This is the one that kind of encourages societal norms, and you can be seen as a hero. But one other important facet that I think is often overlooked when we talk about deviant in sport or corrupt behavior in sport is from fans themselves. As you can see by the picture that I have up on the PowerPoint slide, fans can also be categorized into deviant behavior. We have many examples of deviant behavior. This is just a young individual giving the universal sign, flipping the bird, so to speak, to an opponent. So again, these are the types of things that we want to try to discourage as coaches and as athletes. I also want to point out as well that deviant behavior in sport is also publicized a great deal and accepted by society more often than not because it's encouraged by the media. Take a look at the picture that I have put up on the slide with hockey. Everybody knows about the fights in hockey. Everybody goes to hockey expecting brutal combat between men. So we get a lot of this, and it's encouraged by the media. A lot of times on SportsCenter and sport programs, they always give the highlights of a brawl that's happening, when a baseball batter gets beamed, or when there's remarks post-game. You'll always see those come out into the field, bench clearing brawls and things like that. So again, it can be a ramification of crude remarks. We also have heard a lot about domestic violence lately with the Ray Lewis incident, also with Adrian Peterson. Some of these NFL players have been involved in domestic violence. Off-field altercations, the Trail Sprewell, He's been in the news in the past. The melee at the Palace that happened several years ago with some NBA players going into the stands and hitting some innocent bystanders. And then also just a blatant disregard for gun laws. Plexico Barros of the New York Giants several years ago was at a nightclub. He did not have a permit to carry his gun, plus it was illegal in the state that which he was residing in to carry a firearm into that nightclub. So again, deviant behavior in sport is upon us, and we have to figure out a way that we can encourage our young athletes to find positive role models so that we can in turn use sport to build character.
So with all this in mind, how do we change sport behavior?
That's a good question, and it doesn't come easy and it doesn't come naturally, but it really starts with the parents and the coaching staff. I have an acronym up on the slide that talks about the CARES approach. C standing for care, A standing for attitude, R standing for respect, E standing for effort, and S standing for success. Brett, I also think that creating a positive relationship will help reinforce positive behaviors. Healthy relationships form the foundation of a positive sport experience. But in order for that to happen, a coach must be willing to give time, attention, want to listen to his athletes, understand his athletes, respect his athletes, and also provide direction for his athletes. There are many opportunities to teach life lessons to student athletes through athletics. When approached in the appropriate fashion, the peaks and valleys of athletics can help prepare student athletes for real life. Opportunities may arise throughout the course of an athletic season or career, such as the ability to deal with adversity, to work with others towards a common goal, to overcome obstacles, to fail, to be defeated, and to win. All of these athletic situations help student athletes deal with future real-life situations that require strength, courage, hard work, mental toughness, and/or humility. These educational opportunities can either be harnessed and cultivated or ignored and wasted. It is my contention that these learning opportunities must be seized, especially within the context of character development. There is not a better way to bring about social change than through sports. It is in this context that I believe sports should be utilized at the grassroots level to build character in its participants. As a society, we place such a high premium on winning that the coaches, players, and parents sometimes forget the true reason for sport. Athletics are meant to help develop the whole person, the body in conjunction with the mind. If we neglect the latter, we are doing every individual who participates in athletics and society in general a great disservice. Now that we've established that character certainly can be built through sports, how do you tie in biblical integration? That's often asked of me. Or does religion and sport collide, or can they go hand in hand? To answer that question, I think today's Christian should be ever more inclined to be involved in sport. It cannot be found in the Bible where it specifically addresses sport participation. Yet the Bible does state that one should be separate from the world, John 17:14-15. But it is also true that one needs to live in the world, 1 Corinthians 5:10. In other words, we are instructed as followers of Christ to work and socialize, play daily with many that may be unsaved. However, no matter what position I personally play in life, I am instructed to be a witness for Christ, 1 Peter 3:15. As God's word tells me, I am to assist others in the direction, enabling them to find their own personal relationship with Christ. Therefore, I am inclined to be involved in sport. So I have two concluding questions. Number one, how would you counsel an athlete who wonders, does my behavior on the field reflect Christian values? What does that mean when you're in the heat of the battle? My second question, how can coaches teach their teams to display Christian character but still play tough?